Hello. Um, this is the first video I'm making, and today I want to talk about a mental illness that I've noticed that a lot of people don't understand, and they automatically assume when they hear about the mental illness, they automatically assume that the person is dangerous or something of that nature. And I want to um, share with you guys uh, what it's like to live with the disorder. When I was 16, I was diagnosed with schizophrenia, with suicidal, homicidal tendencies, severe depression, psychosis, PTSD, and bipolar. Now the main one is schizophrenia because that's the one that dominates all other aspects of the disorders that I have. And I want to talk a little bit about that. First off, to understand schizophrenia, yes, you could do the research and look it up and that type of deal, but you don't fully understand until you talk to somebody that has it. And I've lived with it since I was 16. And it all came about when I started hearing voices in my head, and I didn't understand what was going on, and I thought I was just going crazy, and I thought people were actually talking to me when they weren't. And I was in I was in my house, and nobody else would be there, and I would hear things calling to me and saying evil things, and you know that type of thing. And a lot of the voices would be negative, saying that I should kill this person or kill myself, or you know take a take a knife and cut myself, and that type of deal. And I couldn't deal with it anymore, so I started reaching out for help, and that's when I was diagnosed, and I was at 16. Um, Schizophrenia, you have a lot of a lot to contend with. You have to figure out first and foremost what is reality and what is not. And when it comes to trying to figure out what reality is, while you're talking to somebody and what you're hearing is their voice along with the other voices in your head, combating with trying to hold a conversation with somebody, it's extremely difficult to do, and it's extremely difficult to push through and have that communication with the other person, because in the head is just screaming and yelling and about certain things. And this is it's very difficult to distinguish what the person's saying or what's in my head. And I've dealt with it for so long, and I've been on different medications, and all that to try to help. Um, and schizophrenia is not. You hear on the news about people going and shooting up schools and parks and malls and all that stuff, and then they come to find out that the person was mentally ill and they didn't have the support or anything like that. They didn't have the health care or even medical to cover the health care. And that's one problem that is detrimental to the United States, is that there's not enough availability for mental health to help those that really need it. Luckily, I've been able to find a psychiatrist that understands and prescribes me and with medication and all that to combat this disorder, but it doesn't completely take it away, but it does help. Um, every day, every day I wake up and that's the first thing that I hear is, hurt yourself and kill yourself or something of that nature. And that happens throughout the day, every day, from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep. That's all I hear. And it's very difficult to be in a relationship or anything like that because it's hard to distinguish who's actually talking and who's not. Now, I'm not going to go into specifics of my life as far as, you know, people around me or whatnot. I'm not going to give out my name or anything like that. I just want people to understand that when somebody says that they're schizophrenic, it doesn't always mean that they're going to crack up and flip out and start killing people. It just means that they have a disorder that they're trying to work on and they're trying to combat and try to get through it. Now, if you do come across somebody with it, please help them, befriend them, and take your time with them. I wish a lot of people in the area that I live in would understand that and do the same for me, but that's one thing that I wish that people would do, is actually take the time to understand and help through the process of with the disorder. And it's very difficult to talk about it because it is a sensitive subject, and like I said, a lot of people don't understand it. And when you live with it, it's a lot different than when you don't. And when you live with it, you're constantly fighting in your head and physically fighting not to do anything to harm yourself or harm others. And you're constantly being put down. You're constantly being beat down to the ground every day, every minute, every second. Now, this is very difficult to live with. It's very difficult to go day to day living like this. And one thing I found out when I was younger was when I didn't have medical, I was homeless, I didn't have medical, and I would panhandle and steal so I can get um, alcohol to self-medicate. Yes, this works to a point. It does more harm than it does help, because it destroys you physically, but mentally it does help because the more you drink, the more that the voices are suppressed and you're able to get about your business because you are not thinking clearly. Your mind is foggy. So you can't function or anything like that. All you want to do is sleep. And that goes to my next thing is that there's a lot of days where I have manic days and I have depression days. Manic days is where I get up and I have nonstop energy, but the voices are still there, and I have to maintain myself when I go out and with, you know, and others around me, and it's out of my comfort zone. I'm not a social person. I stay inside. I don't really talk to people, and it's a lot easier for me that way. Um, I do have a couple people that I talk to, and I have family that I talk to over the phone. I live 2,000 miles away from my family, and that's that helps because I'm not with them, so it doesn't. Um, it's easier that way. Um, just for the simple fact that I know that I won't do any harm to them, and they're safe from me. The only problem though is that living like this, even taking medication, it's still difficult to go day to day and not being social or anything like that. It doesn't mind job on somebody because as humans we are social creatures, and when you have this disorder, it makes it a lot harder to be social and talk to others. And I had a whole script ready to go through, but I figure it'll probably be best just to explain it as I go. And it's a lot, it comes down to how the people react when they find out that you are schizophrenic. Because now they're cautious around you, and you can see it in their eyes, you can see it in their posture, body language. They're very cautious. They want to stay away. They don't want to be around you. And they basically want to exile you into oblivion. And that's what happens when they find out. Next thing you know, one person finds out and it goes viral throughout the whole town. I live in a small town, so pretty much everybody in the town knows who I am, and they steer clear from me. They don't associate with me, and I don't associate with them, for the simple fact that I don't want to associate with them. I don't want to be in a social environment because, like I said before, it's hard to distinguish what is being actually said and what's not. So it's easier just to do that. I'll go more in depth in the next video, but I just wanted to talk about this a little bit and get it off my chest. And thank you for watching, and please reach out in the comments below, and if you have any questions or anything, just put them in the comments below. I appreciate you watching and taking the time. Thank you.